Hi, hello. Let us discuss about the change management process. During the execution of projects, changes are inevitable. It can be because of corrective actions, it can be because of preventive actions, it could be because of defect fixes. Uh, the stakeholders can raise requests for change. We call it as change requests. A change request can be raised by any stakeholder, maybe internal, maybe external, and change requests could be mandatory because some changes must be done. Without that, we cannot proceed. Sometimes it can be discretionary, and the discretion very often is left to the change control board. The change control board is a representative body of all the stakeholders, where all the major changes are discussed, evaluated, impact analysis done, then they decide whether to go ahead with the change or not. If they are not approving the change, the rejected change requests are archived and the information is passed on to the source of the change request. If the change requests are approved, then the change is incorporated by the relevant engineering teams. And then again, the change control board verifies whether things are done as per the approved change request upon completion of the work. And if it is found satisfactory, that work product is released. So everything starts with the raising of a change request, and then that enters the change control board, and they analyze the change request, and either they reject the change request or approve the change request. Once it is approved, then the change is incorporated by the engineering team. If it is not approved, it is archived and the information is passed on to the respective or the relevant stakeholders. And once the change is incorporated, the change control board verifies for the adequacy of the change incorporation. And if it is of the required quality, then that is released for use. So this is the typical workflow. Now I will take you through the related slides that which will really enforce the concept, because this change request, approved change request, change control board, these terminologies are used multiple times in PMBOK. So once you understand it completely once, then it becomes easier when we proceed. So now I'll take you through the slides. So here is, yeah, so here are the slides. So we discussed about change management process. So now I'll take you through the same process once again using these slides to ensure that the knowledge is completely imparted. A change request is a formal proposal to modify any of the project documents, any of the project deliverables, any of the project baselines like the time, cost, scope, quality, this kind of thing. And it is a proposal to modify any impacted items, and which may include the policies, the procedures, the guidelines, any document, or it may be some design aspects, or maybe some other, even an engineering component which need to be changed. So which all comes under the impacted items. And it may be a proposal to modify time, cost, scope, quality, policies, procedures. And change requests can be, as we discussed earlier, it can be either optional or mandatory. Some change request, it must be done. There is no room for negotiation. That is mandatory. Some are optional. The project manager can decide. The change control board can decide. Sometimes the change request can be direct change request on a particular impacted item. The change must be performed. That is a direct change request. An indirect may be, okay, the change request actually is raised for changing some component, and when we do the impact analysis, we realize that another item is impacted. So the direct change request, change request is directly on to some other component, and it has indirect impact on some other components. Change requests can be external or internal. An external party can raise a change request, or it can be even the engineering team can raise a change request. When it is done by the engineering team, that is a clean example of internal change request. External change request maybe the customer is asking for a change, or the supplier is asking, subcontractor is asking for a change, or there is a statutory requirement from the bodies or government bodies, okay, then that is an example of a external change request. Change requests are generally triggered by corrective action. Something has gone wrong and we want to correct it. Then it becomes that corrective action may trigger some change request. Or it could be triggered by preventive actions. You know that, okay, something must be prevented, otherwise it will end up in a issue later. Maybe some of the requirements are missed out, and if it is not incorporated now itself, tomorrow it can lead to problems. That is a preventive action triggered change request. And defect repairs. The customer reports a defect, okay, then to correct it, we may have to raise a change request. And it could be just for the periodic updates of formally controlled documents. We may raise a change request, and most probably it will be an internal change request. Let's say the project manager changed. Now the charter needs to be updated. The project plan needs to be updated to incorporate the new project manager's identity. Then it is an update to charter. It is an update to project plan. So then, okay, again, we may have to raise a change request. Then what is a change control board? It is a formal body to evaluate, approve, or reject and verify changes. So we call it as CCBs, or a change control board, which may have the project manager, the sponsor, the engineering manager, the quality manager, the documentation manager, the testing manager. So it may have a representative of the key stakeholders, and we call it as a change control board. And their primary responsibility is to evaluate the newly raised change requests, approve or reject those changes, and once the work is done, they come back and verify the changes. and as it comprises of stakeholder representatives. Here is the typical workflow of the change control process. A change request is, a change request is raised, and that enters the change control board, and the change control board either approves it or rejects it. If it is rejected, then you have to archive it and inform the relevant stakeholders. If it is approved, incorporate the change. The approved change request comes out, incorporate the change, and once the change is incorporated, verify. If it is good, then release. If it is not good, then again it gets into rework, incorporate the change box, and once it is satisfactory, again it get released. So this is a typical workflow of change request, or the change control workflow. To summarize, we discussed about what is a change request. It is a formal recommendation for change. It can be internal or external. It can be mandatory or discretionary. It is triggered by corrective actions, preventive actions, and defect repair. And we discussed about the composition of the change control board. So once the change request is raised, it goes to the change control board. They evaluate the change, and if it is rejected, then it is archived and the information goes on to the stakeholders. If it is approved, the change is incorporated, and once the change is incorporated, the change control board verify whether it is as per the agreed upon requirements, and if it is satisfactory, they release it. If it is not satisfactory, it comes back for filling up the deficit. So this is a typical flow. I hope the change control workflow is very clear to you. If you have any queries and questions, please post it as a comment to this video and I'll answer them. And if you have not subscribed to our channel yet, please subscribe to the channel so that you will get the updates faster and without fail. If you really understand the strategy, we are teaching you the vocabulary of PMBOK first, so that your first thing is you are immunized to the version changes. You understand the vocabulary is not going to change. Once you understand the vocabulary, then it is only arranging them in different patterns to understand different processes, because every process has a set of inputs, tools, and techniques and outputs. And all these inputs, tools, and techniques and outputs are taught to you independently as vocabulary. And once you understand all the inputs, tools, and techniques and outputs, then it is only arranging it in different forms to understand the processes. So this is the easiest way to learn things than mugging up things. So first let us understand the basic building blocks, the inputs, tools, and techniques and outputs. Then we start talking about processes. Then we start talking about the certification exams, if any. So if you have not registered or subscribed to our channel, please do subscribe. Thank you. Hello. So we discussed about what is a change request. It is a formal proposal for changing things. It could be any artifact, any baseline, anything. It could be the scope, it could be the budget, time, cost, scope. And then we discussed about change control board. It is a formal board for evaluating the change request, approve or reject, and maybe even verify the changes. And CCBs comprises of the representative of the key stakeholders. And we saw the flow of change request. And before that, we discussed about the triggers for change request. Could be because of corrective action, preventive action, or defect fix. Change requests can be mandatory, some of them, and some of them could be discretionary. And we saw the workflow. A change request is raised, it enters the CCBs, they evaluate. If they reject it, the rejected change request gets archived, and the information should be communicated to the sponsor or the relevant stakeholders. And once it is approved, then the changes are incorporated. And once the changes are incorporated, the change control board verifies to see whether things are as agreed upon. If it is okay, they release it. If it is not okay, it will come back for rework and to fill up the deficit. And once the deficit is filled up, then it is released for use. Please do subscribe for our channel if you have not yet subscribed, and maybe recommend this channel. If you see value, recommend this to others as well, so that we'll get more subscribers. Thank you very much. Till we come with the next video tomorrow.